Hello, I'm Persolaise and welcome to episode 10, this year's final episode of Love at First Scent. I think we should start by smelling a perfume. And I'm setting myself a bit of a tough challenge with this one because I have got no information about it whatsoever, apart from the fact that I know what brand it's from and I know what it's called. I don't even know who the perfumer is. Normally I would find out who the perfumers would be for this brand, but I don't have a press release. So this is going to be interesting. Thank you very much to everybody for tuning in. I'll say a proper hello as usual when we've done this perfume. I think we should just start straight away. So this is, you may just be able to make out, this is a brand new one from Amouage. But don't panic if you don't necessarily recognize this bottle, because this isn't the actual bottle which the brand sells. As far as I'm aware, this perfume will come out in their standard bottles. This is a press sample, a very generously sized press sample, so I can't show you the bottle. Hello Joe. Joe says, what's up with all those minis? Actually, those of you who watched last time will remember that I need to kind of cleverly be following this on my iPad, otherwise I will miss comments. So there we go, we've got the technology set up. What's with all the minis? Nothing in particular, Joe. I just thought that as it's the last episode of the year, I just wanted to show you some of my favourite things. What they have in common is that these four here, I don't know if you can see them, were all picked up during my travels in Japan earlier this year. And that one, I need to look at my iPad to see whether you can see that. You can see me pointing at this one. There is a reason why this one is here. This is, some of you will recognise it as Narcisse Noir from Caron. There is a particular reason why that's there, just to jog my memory to tell you about something. But I think we should start with this Amouage. This is Beach Hut Woman. Many of you will know that Amouage tend to release their fragrances in pairs, a men's one and a women's one. Nafia, hi, I was going to mention you in today's episode, Nafia, so stay tuned. Nafia says, hi Dariush, I spy the adorable bottle of Oudh from Tower. Yes, you're absolutely right, as I point to it with my handy pointing and writing device. And I was going to mention you later on, Nafia, in relation to the Tower, but thank you very much for tuning in. So let me label this blotter. As I was saying, this is the woman's version of Beach Hut, which we had Beach Hut Man earlier this year, and I was quite fond of Beach Hut Man. I liked its lemony, its sort of unembarrassed lemony freshness. I didn't necessarily quite like how it developed, how it went on. I just felt it became a touch too synthetic as it went along, so I'll be very curious to see what Beach Hut Woman is like. And as often happens with this, I really, really am nervous. Carol says, I can't wait to hear about Narcisse Noir. Well, I'm really pleased, Carol, but don't get too excited. It's just something that to jog my memory about something that is kind of related to Narcisse Noir. But are you a fan of that particular perfume? I know it has a lot of fans. But as I was saying, I'm really nervous about trying this because, as many of you will be aware if you are readers of my blog, if you've been watching this series, you will know that I'm one of the few people out there who still does negative reviews. If people in the sort of critical community, if there is such a thing, feel that they don't want to do negative reviews, that's fine. I personally think it's kind of strange that if you're going to be a critic of whatever, that you would never sort of stick your neck out to say if you don't think something is worthy of praise. I think criticism is kind of strange if it's always positives. But I stick to this policy, for want of a better word, of talking negatively about perfumes that I'm not particularly impressed with. And so this is nerve-wracking because Amouage is ultimately a brand that I really, really like, and so I want to like their perfumes. And actually I want to like every single perfume, the samples of which I receive, so brace yourselves. I hope it's good. Although I tend to like Amouage's men's perfumes better than... I need to shut up and just spray this. Right, here we go. Beach Hut Woman from Amouage. The first perfume on the last episode of Love at First Scent. Okay, let's see what the brand has prepared for us this time. Oh, interesting. And that was interesting in a good way. Because, of course, sometimes we can also go, interesting. Which isn't quite the same as interesting. Right, if I didn't know better, I would say this is almost a kind of cucumber opening. But don't be put off by that. You can create a cucumber effect in perfumes if you mix certain marine notes with woody violet leaf notes. And that can work really well because... Okay, and there's a floral suggestion coming through as well. Maybe something minty rosy, and I guess in my mind, if I'm thinking minty rosy, then I would automatically be thinking geranium, because geranium is kind of minty rosy anyway. Linked up with that saline, cucumbery marine note. And so far, at least, I know it's only been about 2 minutes since I sprayed it on the blotter, but so far, very, very well named and a wonderful companion to Beach Hut Man, because Beach Hut Man was all about freshness as expressed in a kind of yellow, sunshiny, lemony way. I already said lemon. This is woodier, as I've already said. So that automatically makes it a little bit darker. But that cucumber saline quality, you know how, for instance, if you have freshly peeled cucumber, one of the best ways to have it is to just sprinkle some salt on it. Cucumber goes so well with salty, savoury flavours. And this has that real bright, singing freshness of a fantastic salad that you just want to tuck into by the beach. But I don't want to make that sound like it's a bad thing, because, you know, if a sales assistant in a shop said, "Oh, wear this, it'll make you smell like a salad," you may not necessarily go for it. But this is the kind of salad that you want to smell like, if that makes sense. And I guess the reason why that effect is being created is because of this floral facet that stops the whole from just descending into a kind of cucumber, bland, boring quality. So overall, I'm relieved, thank goodness. I think I'm going to like this one. It's always a relief when you do actually like something from a brand that you are genuinely fond of. Like, for instance, earlier this year, Amouage released their main duo. Now, what was it called? Figment. Joe says, that doesn't make any sense. No one wants to smell like a salad. Yeah, but maybe you want to smell like this one. And Annika, or is it Anika? I hope I'm saying your name right. Says, when your boyfriend is vegan, it could work out well. So there you go. That might work for you. Okay, to kind of qualify what I was saying, it doesn't smell like a salad, but it conveys that freshness that you want. You know, for instance, if you're on some kind of beach holiday somewhere, and you've spent some time on the beach, and then you decide to wander around town to see what you might have for lunch, and all those fresh ingredients, those fresh lettuces and those fresh tomatoes and those fresh cucumbers and olives are kind of calling out to you. It's the effect of that. So it's not the actual literal smells, but it's that mouth-watering effect that you might get from seeing those sorts of ingredients. So for the record, let me state, this does not smell like a salad. Well, it does smell a bit like cucumber, so I'll leave that one with you. But what I was saying is that, of course, earlier this year, Amouage released Figment Man and Woman, and I struggled with those. I still struggle with those. I told myself that I would come back to them to see what I think of them, and I haven't even quite been able to do that, so I don't know if there are any fans of Figment out there. But I think this is precisely one of the reasons I admire Amouage, because they tend not to follow trends. Their creative director, Christopher Chong, is a very idiosyncratic figure. He does his own thing. And yes, obviously, he wants to make things that will sell for his brand. You know, he doesn't want his brand to lose money, but he knows that people don't go to his brand because they want a cardboard cutout photocopy of everything that is available in the shops anyway. So Amouage perfumes tend to be a bit out there, which is fine. It's commendable. And Beach Hut is, I suppose, a more palatable version of that. I'm just going to try and catch up with the comments here. Joe says, cucumber, marine vibe, freshness. Does it smell mainstream? Very good question. And actually, I've just spent the last few seconds, haven't I, saying they are out there. I guess the answer would be it smells just about as mainstream as Amouage would ever get. I mean, I think if you smelt this in a normal high street department store, you would think it was quite different from everything else on offer. I mean, what stops it from smelling completely mainstream is that it doesn't smell cheap. Amouage perfumes are always far too interesting to smell cheap. So okay, it may not use the most expensive, lavish, costly materials. Didn't mean lavish, but you know what I mean, luxurious. Geranium isn't a particularly expensive material. Then the woodiness may come from patchouli, you know, again, not a particularly expensive material, but there's a kind of ambriness in the base as well that just stops it from smelling too pedestrian. I hope that answers your question, Joe. And also a comment from Nafia again, don't really like the Figment frags, but really loved the packaging. You know, the Figment was challenging. I wonder how they did for the brand, those Figment perfumes. So, a few minutes in, and on neither of my two screens, technology isn't helping here. Can I see the time? Oh yeah, now I know that we've already been on for 12 minutes. How do I manage to talk for so long about the one perfume? And this one smells like it's going to be a good one, but the thing that I've been wanting to say for the last few minutes is it's interesting that this is the one that is being marketed as the feminine, because actually its woodiness, its sort of almost violet leaf geranium freshness would align it more obviously with men's perfumes. So to go back to your question, Joe, in a kind of regular high street department store, you would actually probably smell something that would be close to this in the men's section rather than in the women's, which again just shows how interested Christopher Chong is in just shaking things up and blurring things. So Beach Hut Woman from Amouage, so far so good. So at this point, I'm just going to put that blotter there, I would like to say a very warm welcome and hello, good evening here in the UK, it's already dark outside, to the 10th and this year's final episode of Love at First Scent, the Facebook Live series, where I pick a few perfumes from the selection here in front of me, ideally perfumes that I've never ever smelt before, and then I spray them on a blotter here in front of you and give you my first impressions as a kind of other end of the spectrum of doing what I do on my blog, which is to publish written reviews over which I've spent a great deal of time, you know, thinking about how the perfume develops. So I should also say, you know, stress that these are first impressions. Usually 4 hours after the Facebook Live broadcast, I post a sort of status update to say how the blotters have been doing, to tell you how the perfumes have developed. If you are watching live right now on Facebook, thank you very much for tuning in. People have been getting in touch with me over the last few days, telling me that they're going to be tuning in from South Africa and Iraq and various states in the United States. It's just amazing that I can be sitting in this room in my house and be reaching out literally to the entire world. If you are watching after the live broadcast on Facebook. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like to leave a comment, I try to answer all questions as quickly as possible. And usually what happens is that these videos also get posted to YouTube. So if you are watching on YouTube, thank you very much indeed. Please feel free to leave a question or a comment and subscribe to my channel. And right now on Facebook Live, please be very generous with your thumbs up and your hearts and your comments and your questions, because the thing that makes all of this fun and enjoyable is all of the interaction with you. Without further ado, I would like to go straight into another one that I haven't smelt before, but I know that some of you are already familiar with this brand. Oh, lots and lots of hearts and thumbs up and things going across my screen. By the way, not being the world's biggest expert on Facebook Live, sometimes I do get notifications here as to who is watching me, and sometimes I don't. I don't know whether that's to do with people's personal settings, whether they don't necessarily want other people to know that they're watching. But like, for instance, right now, I've had a notification, I don't know if you all have, to say that Marion Geller is watching. But I don't know who else is. So good evening, Ronnie. Long time no email. We must compensate for that. Moving on to the next one, I'd like to try this. I said I would on my Instagram, so I've got to keep my promise. This is from an Australian brand, can you see that? Called Map of the Heart. And the one that we're going to look at now is, I think, their second perfume, called Black Heart. Now, if you're not familiar with their bottles, then you may want to brace yourselves, because it's not exactly what you would expect from a perfume bottle, because it looks like that. And if I try and get close to the camera, I'm so bad at working out the symmetry of this. You can see that the detail on it is aiming for a certain amount of anatomical accuracy. And I am reliably informed that the bottle is quite polarizing. Annika says, still find the bottle scary. Yeah, you're not the only one. You're absolutely not the only one. Being polarizing is usually quite a good thing in perfumery, especially in independent brands, because it means people sit up and pay attention. Nafia says she adores the bottle. So there we go. We have one vote for, one vote against. Carol says, oh God, not so sure I like the packaging. I remain undecided. I mean, the feel of it feels very much like picking up a Comme des Garçons Pebble bottle. The design, I personally find this a lot less offensive than, for instance, a perfume bottle in the shape of a grenade. Or what did we have from Davidoff a little while ago? Was it in the shape of a... Was it actually a gun, or was it bullets? Was it like the barrel of a gun? Ingrid says, oh, I love it. Baboom. so more votes for loving it. And I don't think even offensive is the right word. I don't find this offensive. And I'm not sure I even find it morbid. I don't know if it's just something that I would particularly want to display. But anyway, this brand, Map of the Heart, Australian brand, bullets from Azzaro, wasn't it? Oh, yes. No, yes, you're right, Nafia. Thank you. Yeah, Azzaro. Yeah, Davidoff didn't quite go that far. I think Davidoff once had dumbbells, didn't? Or one dumbbell, which was equally moronic. Joe says, the idea of having to hold it in my palm in order to spray it is a bit disturbing. Yeah, and maybe that is the idea. Maybe they do want it to be a bit disturbing. Maybe they want it to be disruptive. That's a buzzword in the art world, isn't it? I don't know whether Australian perfumery is a thing at the moment. We've got another brand as well that's going to be making its way to the UK in a big way next year, called Goldfield and Banks. I posted some of their bottles on Instagram quite some time ago. I was given this bottle by the brand rep just a few days ago. What day is it today? Oh, on Thursday I was given this bottle, and we were actually going to spray it, but we were in a very, very noisy place, and I said I was doing Facebook Live on Sunday, and then we sort of said, oh, maybe we should actually save it. It might be interesting to just see what my initial reaction would be, because trying perfumes for the first time in a noisy place is also usually a bad idea. So, Black Heart coming up from Map of the Heart. I already know that all of their perfumes are something heart. I don't know if it's necessarily a colour, although I think it's usually colour. Maybe one of them is called Clear Heart. Just out of interest, how many of you already are familiar with this one? Right, I'm gonna start spraying this. I have no idea what the colour of the juice is going to be either. And we have another comment from Eglia. Sorry, I hope I'm saying your name correctly. Designed by Pierre Dinon, the masterpiece. Okay, I didn't know that. Right, the guy knows a thing or two about perfume bottles. Okay, here we go. Not only have I never smelt this before, but I've also never smelt anything by this brand before, and I've got little carded samples of the rest of the range. Oh, it's already radiating quite strongly. Oh, wow, okay. Gosh, I haven't had quite a sort of shocking birch tarry, catches your breath and stops you in your tracks opening since the first time I smelt Lone Star Memories from Andy Tower, which is still my favourite Andy Tower perfume. So, yeah, strong opening, very, very striking opening. Camphoraceous, so maybe a suggestion of eucalyptus, something like birch tar, but maybe more of the sort of medicinal facets of it rather than the leathery. Carol says it's exciting to try new things. Absolutely. Glad you keep an open mind, and I love birch tar. Well, I try to keep an open mind. I mean, we are all only human. I think, you know, if I was sort of trying the latest perfume from Versace or something, I'd be struggling to kind of not let my prejudices get in the way. But when you have absolutely no preconceptions or pre-knowledge, that's the best thing. And there's something where it differs from Andy Tower's Lone Star Memories, at least now on the blotter, is that it's gentler, it's smoother, and it's almost got a kind of sweet quality, like maybe it's going to go into its floral facets a lot faster than Lone Star Memories would. But already, for those, Annika says, any metallic blood-like notes, still scared. No. And I don't think that's the idea with them. I don't think the idea is, well, I could be mistaken, because I have a press release here, so I will share it with you in a moment. Let's see what Australian press releases are like. But no, absolutely not. Nothing like that at all. I mean, this is you know, just a perfume in inverted commas. It doesn't feel like it's got anything particularly cardiac about it. The floral note is interesting because, of course, Andy Tower's Lone Star Memories goes into geranium, famously. This doesn't seem to be doing that kind of thing. It's much gentler. I mean, if I didn't know any better, I'd almost be saying things like, you know, freesias and sweet peas. But the very fact that I'm comparing it to Lone Star Memories should indicate to those who know me that this is high praise indeed. This could well be love at first scent, and now I'm really excited actually to try the others in the range. It speaks of the outdoors, you know, and that crackle of stepping on leaves, maybe even eucalyptus leaves that have been out in the sun for so long that they actually become brittle, and yet they still release some of that oil when you step on them, and the oil mixed in with the heat of the environment just fills everything with this amazing camphoraceous smell. But there is something else in there that I can't quite put my finger on. Nafia says, I've just sprayed my sample and I love the smokiness. Yeah, thank you. Smokiness, good word. But wouldn't you say it's a really clean smoke? It doesn't kind of choke you at all. Whereas Lone Star Memories presents its smoke in a slightly dirtier way, which I love. Yeah, smokiness is a good word. See, you don't need me. You're actually helping me more than I'm doing anything for you. Okay, press release time. Also, slight difficulty with bottles like this is that you kind of can't stand them up, so you just sort of go, okay, stay there. Strange black heart. Map of the Heart press release. I've got text for each of them, so I need to go to Black Heart, and it's got an image, okay, not an image that I was expecting, of a woman who, if I didn't know any better, Nafia says definitely, yeah, I'm glad you agree. A woman who looks like maybe she's fallen out of a building onto a car. Ingrid says smokiness or smoky tea. I wouldn't have said tea. More like just a sort of bonfire smokiness, where the leaves have got caught up in your bonfire as well, maybe eucalyptus leaves. I'm not sure if I even want to show you this image, because once you start staring at it, it is quite disturbing. I mean, the woman, thankfully, doesn't look as though she's injured, so perhaps she's just found a wrecked car and she's just decided to have a bit of a nap on the car, as you do. So let's say she hasn't fallen, because she doesn't look as though she's hurt in any way at all. She clearly just likes sleeping on bashed up cars. But then, I've never been to Australia. Perhaps that's the kind of thing they do there. Anybody in Australia watching? Would you care to enlighten us as to your favourite places to, catch 40 winks? This is a story that treads the corridors of Koeptys, where the real and unreal blur. Here we go. I love press releases. It takes us to the razor's edge to find that true essence of spirit of what it is to live. Very helpful. Black heart is the dark side of sensuality, the pause between heartbeats, the world of the dark and the surreal, of deepest desires and the most potent of love stories. It is the journey into the unknown self. Fine, except it just smells a bit too nice for that. Black heart is an intensely haunting scent that taunts danger. Its smoky heart of mysterious spices, fair enough, is shot through with shards of fresh eucalyptus and citrus to create an impolite mix of opposites. I like that expression, an impolite mix of opposites, but I'm not sure I'd agree. Its smoky wood accord underlines the contrast of dark and light with Australian sandalwood, bringing a rich and deep signature for the bold and the brave. Slight difference between Australian sandalwood and Indian sandalwood, and also slight difference between Indian sandalwood that is now sustainably being grown in Australia. That's the sandalwood that, according to the last reports I heard, Frederick Mal likes using in some of his perfumes. Inspired by the beauty and terror of Australian bushfires. That I get, actually. I completely get that. Bushfires that are both destructive and regenerative. It is the moment the flames subside and the blackened tree trunks remain smouldering in a snow of white ash. Now that is a good description. I love the idea of a snow of white ash, and yes, there is absolutely a whiteness here. You know how, Nafia, you were asking a few minutes ago whether it's smoky? I think what I meant by clean smoke is that it's not black, charred, sooty smoke. It is a clean smoke and a white smoke. The piercing sunlight slicing through. And then it goes on to a list of notes. So, I think this one is going to be today's Love at First Scent. Very impressed, and I shall wear it tonight. I'm going to be watching. I almost don't want to tell you, because I feel like if I tell you what I'm going to be watching at the cinema tonight, I might get some spoilers. But I'm going to be watching the new Star Wars. If you've seen it, don't you dare tell me anything about it. Otherwise, I shall be very cross. I will block you from all further broadcasts. Okay, there are lots and lots of other perfumes from Map of the Heart. I now very much am looking forward to trying all of them. I expect I will write a few words about them on my blog at some point, or perhaps on Twitter. But on the basis of Black Heart, thumbs up. This is a beautiful piece of work, actually. Try Pink Heart, Nafia says. Why? Because I'm not going to like it, or because I'm going to love it? What? I won't look at the press release for Pink Heart. So I think we should move on to a third perfume, and we're going to... No, actually, we've done two. So this is where we mention Nafia, because otherwise I shall forget to do this. Those of you who very kindly watched the last episode will remember that I mentioned Andy Tower's Tower mag, but I didn't have the latest issue yet to share with you, so I showed you issue number 3. Here is issue number 4. Now, I should declare an interest. I have an article published in this one, an article that has got quite a few positive comments so far, which is very, very gratifying. And it also features a really, really stunning illustration by Nafia, who is watching right now. So leave a comment and tell her what you think of this illustration. What she decided to do was illustrate one of Andy's own perfumes. She did a, I want to say painting. I'm guessing it is a painting. Is it, you know, like a sort of old school painting, Nafia, or is it digital? We'll say painting, and then Nafia can correct us. Let me see if I can do this better. Right. Nafia does perfume illustrations, which she posts on Instagram, and her Instagram tag is an illustrated nose, all one word, an illustrated nose. So please do check out her work. It's just so striking and so stunning, and Instagram is just far too small a format. Oh, it's a watercolor, says Nafia. That's even more impressive. There's if I tried to do anything like that, it would just be this sort of pinks and blues. Really interesting article from Andy about the creation of his latest perfume. And unless I'm mistaken, when you order the magazine, you can also opt to receive it, to buy it, with this little guy here. A small version of Andy Tower's famous pentagonal bottle. Oh, Nafia says, cheers for the shout out. Not at all. Don't need to thank me at all. Thank you very much for the beautiful work, and thanks for watching. This is Andy Tower's Oudh. He has made an oud. He's taken the plunge. I have already written my review of it. I'm not sure when to post it on my blog. I don't know whether to kind of sneak it in before the year is out, or maybe make it one of the first reviews of next year, because I want as many people as possible to read it. But what I will say is that it's a great oud. It's actually, Nafia, what did you think of it? Have you tried the did you get the sample as well? I'm assuming you did. I like it because it's different. I'm partial to well-made oud perfumes anyway, but I'm particularly fond of this one because Andy hasn't gone down the predictable route. A lot of oud perfumes are either sort of rosy or leathery, which is fine. There's, that's exactly what Frédéric Malle did with The Night, and he did a fantastic job with Dominique Ropion. So there are still territories that can be explored in this genre, but Andy decided to be a little bit more medicinal, I guess, and play things a little bit less safe. And he's done a wonderful job, I think. Staying with the realms of the independent sector, I'd like to try this because it was on the table on the selection last time when we did episode 9. Let me just pop this back here so that people can see that we tried that. And then after the episode, a few people got in touch and said, oh, what was that other one there called? Koeptys. Could you please do it next time? So the kind presenter, I was going to say, or critic that I am, I agreed to do this one now. Again, I know nothing about it apart from the fact that it's from a brand called Nejma. Can you just see the name there? Probably not. There you go. And that it has a somewhat unusual name. So lots of genuinely new things being tried here. And I do have a press release, so hopefully that'll be amusing as well. Ooh, what's this? Okay, continuing with the Egyptian theme, I guess. Please do keep the comments and the questions and the thumbs up and the hearts, etc. This is inspired by Canary Wharf, clearly. So, perfume for London banking execs. Right, let's have a look and see what we think of this. Anyone out there tried this one? Drop the blotter. Okay. I do like that grey, I must say. Yeah, it is quite the bottle, Carol. I can't decide whether actually I think it looks, cheap, or whether I do like it. It's certainly very heavy. Okay. Koeptys from Nejma. Here we go. Oh, okay. Do I need to say any more? No, I probably do. Okay, what's it starting with? It's kind of starting with a fairly generic masculine citrusy note. If you can hear a siren going past, don't worry. That is because this room is right on a main road, and it's going past now. And it's gone. I hope they're all right, whoever they are. Yeah, generic, kind of harsh citrusy note. It feels like it's going to maybe go straight into an equally generic woody note. Carol says, it's funny, before you say anything, your face often expresses whether you like it or not. Yeah, you're not the first person to say that, which is why there is absolutely no point fibbing or lying, because I'm told this is quite an expressive face. Who was it? Was it you, Carol, actually? Or was it somebody else that said, what do you like at poker? And I just thought I'd be completely hopeless. And I'm told I frown too much as well, but I try not to. Yeah, this is not doing it for me so far, because to go back to Joe's question about whether the Amouage smells mainstream, this is what kind of smells unremarkably mainstream. It's quite shrill, quite harsh, quite thin, quite watered down, and if I didn't know any better, I would say it has got a substantial dose of the dreaded dihydromercenol citrus woody note, which, you know, is an extremely useful material in perfumery, but when overdosed, it is rather unwelcome. Let's actually take a look at the press release to see if I've completely missed out what's meant to be in this. So, Koeptys, the first fragrance for men from Nejma. Koeptys is the brand new scent for men from internationally acclaimed fragrance brand Nejma, launching in November 2017. Koeptys, from the Latin Koeptys, meaning project or endeavour. Annika says, oh, Carol, allergy salute. Oh, yes. I need to stop doing that as well, don't I? And Annika says, seems as boring as the bottle. Yeah. Anyway, from the Latin Koeptys, project meaning project or endeavour, is a remarkable collaboration between the brand, master perfumer Alice Lavena, and French rap phenomenon Booba. How do you pronounce that in French? Maybe it's Boba. Does anybody know a French rap phenomenon whose name is written Booba? Because I want to say Booba, and that sounds wrong. So we'll go with Boba. The resulting fragrance combines luxury and modernity in one extraordinary creation. If you say so, Boba. Critically acclaimed artist Boba has sold over 10 million discs worldwide. That's impressive, because I didn't think anybody bought them anymore. They've probably been... Angelica says French rap phenomenon. Have you heard of him? I mean, I'm not particularly into French rap. He has collaborated, but yeah, I'm sure he hasn't sold discs, has he? Because nobody does that anymore. Nobody buys physical music, do they? Has collaborated with the likes of P. Diddy and Akon, and is the most downloaded music artist in French history. Okay, so that must be true as a claim. Angelica says probably his mum bought those. I'm not going there. Not only was Boba the inspiration for this brand new fragrance, he was closely involved with the whole creative process, bringing passion and excitement to the project. Koeptys opens with notes of incense, cinnamon and pepper. maybe on some other planet, before revealing a floral woody heart. Pure vanilla and patchouli inject power and sensuality to the base of this highly aromatic and addictive scent. Do you know what's going to happen? Sorry, I need to stop doing that. Right, don't touch nose. Probably what's going to happen is that, like, when I do this sort of 4-hour status report on Facebook in the comment below this video, I'll say, no, I take it all back, Bubba. This perfume is fantastic. After a slightly dodgy opening, it developed into this wondrous creation that I'm now going to wear for the rest of my life. That's probably what's going to happen. Let's give Bubba the benefit of the doubt. I want to look this guy up, actually. The packaging reflects the urban cool. Behold, urban cool that characterizes Bubba's style. The alternating... Oh no, don't do that. The alternating upper and lowercase letters highlight the word key and are a reference to the street culture that has been a major influence on his life and music. The key to his success! Exclamation mark. Do you see what they did there? The K, the E and the Y are in capital letters, and so that means that represents the key to his success. Feel free to comment at this point. Koeptys launches exclusively, I've lost the will to live now, at Selfridges, priced £130 for 100 mils. £130, people, £130 for some of Bubba's key to success. And here is the man himself. The fact that I've never heard of him doesn't mean anything at all, because I'm not aware of anything that is happening in the world of French rap. Carol says, the nose doesn't lie, it's hurting your schnoz. Yeah, maybe it is. And Angelica says, upper and lowercase letters equals much success. Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. Anyway, here is the man himself. Ladies and gents, Bubba, otherwise known as Booba, enjoying his success and his fragrance. Okay, I think this one probably won't be love at first scent. The incense note is coming through, but this just smells... It just smells a little bit too ordinary. Sorry, you know, from an independent brand, especially from a brand like Nejma. Oh, I've touched the nose again. Especially, I need to just tie my hand here. Especially for a brand like Nejma, I may not have liked every single one of the perfumes that they did for women before, but they were quite bold creations, a lot of them, and they were certainly out there. So maybe they felt that for their first masculine, they needed to play it safe. Joe says, is it considered a celebrity scent? Well, I think that depends on whether you consider Bubba to be a celebrity. But I don't know. I don't think from an independent brand we would say it's a celebrity scent. I mean, his name isn't on the packaging, I don't think, anywhere. No, it isn't. I mean, it just sort of gives descriptions of the notes and things. No, it's not. Maybe they sort of made a deal with him or something to allow them to use him, his identity. Not sure. But this is the kind of stuff for men that you've smelt before. It's done well, I guess. It's certainly not like the new Coach for men, which is just diabolical. But no, I don't think that one is going to be changing the world. Let's see how the Amouage is doing, actually, because I'm curious about... No, pick up the right blotter then. Annika says, not even in lower letters. Well, not even what in lower letters? A celebrity scent. Joe says, because if it is, I expect to see it in the bargain bin in 3 months. If you do, let me know. Yeah, the Amouage that I started the broadcast with, the Beach Hut Woman, it's interesting. That kind of saline, savoury feel is still there, but the floral aspect is hovering too. It's very, very well balanced. It's probably gentler than a lot of Amouages. Actually, I'm torn now. I don't know whether to wear that to Star Wars tonight, and if you tell me anything about it, I will block you, or whether to wear the Map of the Heart. So, somebody at the very beginning of the programme said, why have I got the minis here? And I particularly wanted to put Narcisse Noir here from Caron. This is, of course, the extrait version. This is the currently available one. It isn't vintage or anything like that, unfortunately. This is here purely to jog my memory, to say that if you go to my blog, persolaise.com, you will find a link to some discussions that I've had on BBC Radio 4's film programme about certain films that are particularly good at evoking smells. The most recent broadcast, which was just this Thursday, was about The Silence of the Lambs. And Narcisse Noir is here because I've also recorded a bit where we've talked about Black Narcissus. I have no idea when it's going to be broadcast. I know it won't be broadcast this year now, maybe sometime in mid-January, but that's all that was there for. Carol says, let's go for the minis. Yes, at this point, I am actually really, really tempted to just have a sniff of some vintage Durissimo, some vintage Chanel No. 5, extrait that I picked up in Japan, an old Poison, some Femme. I think that would be very, very good for the soul. However, what we are going to do now, I think, is bid you a fond farewell, because we have come to the end of today's episode. Carol says, oh good, I know it's been used in a lot of films. Oh, you mean Narcisse Noir, including When a Woman Ascends the Stairs. I don't know that film. To great effect. I'm going to look this film up. I just wanted to take a couple of minutes at the end now to say a huge thank you to you. When I started this little project earlier this year, I had no idea that I would be able to get 10 episodes in before the end of the year, and that is completely and utterly down to you, down to the fact that you've all taken the time in your very, very busy lives to join in, to give me the thumbs up and the hearts, and to post questions and to interact and to make me laugh, which, as I've said before, is something that is absolutely priceless. So hopefully in 2018 we will be able to do even more of these. This video will be put up on Facebook permanently at the end of the broadcast. It will also then eventually make its way to YouTube. So feel free to leave questions on any of those formats. And also in about 4 hours' time, I will be posting a kind of blotter status update in one of the comments below the Facebook video to let you know how those blotters have been doing. Whatever you are doing between now and the end of the year, I hope you have a fantastic time. I hope you manage to spend some time with your loved ones and just relax and get away from the rat race a little bit. All my very, very best wishes for 2018. Thank you so much for your support. I will see you in January. Or Carol says, happy holidays. Hope you have some time off. Thank you for those videos and for your blog. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching and for reading and for all your support. Take care. I'm off to see Star Wars.